my relations. Welcome to another program, Eagle and Condor. This is Tony Gonzalez, your host today, Sunday, October 5, 2025. And today, my relatives, I'll be presenting you with a video. It was made in 1992, film directed by Rodrigo Betancourt with the help of Luis Vasquez. This was a part of their New Breed Productions, and the video depicts the 500 years of Indian resistance to colonization here in the Americas. And itself, the film is a tribute dedicated to the Navajo Dene people of Big Mountain, Arizona, many of whom were forcibly relocated during the 60s, 70s, and 80s in the land dispute there, with the government interference and corporations trying to get into their lands, particularly the Peabody Coal Company, my relatives. But the video is AUTODESCUBRIMENTO, Self-Discovery, is to help us, help you, help the viewer, even at that time, to be woke about what time it is. And so as we near Indigenous Peoples Day, particularly here in the Bay Area, San Francisco, Monday, October 13, we will be going to the annual Sunrise Gathering to commemorate 533 years of Indian resistance to colonization throughout the Americas, my relatives. So don't forget, get your tickets early now at Alcatraz Cruises if you want to be there with us at the island. And also, don't forget the Berkeley Powwow. This will be the 33rd annual Berkeley Indigenous Peoples Day Powwow. And that will be Saturday at 2151 Martin Luther King Jr. Way at Alston Way in Berkeley. So mark your calendars for that time, my relatives. And don't forget to support public radio, public television, KPFA. That's KPFA 94.1 FM or kpfa.org in San Francisco. Radio KPOO, KPOO at 89.5 FM. And up north in Redway, you have Radio KMUD, KMUD. And I like to promote the program of Agnes Patak on Wednesday mornings, 9 a.m., Heart of the Earth. That's the name of her program. All right, my relatives, I hope you enjoy this video, AUTODESCUBRIMENTO, 1992, 500 years of Indian resistance.
And I think that I began recovering the memory of the past. And that is what I've been doing in the last 10 years, recovering the past, the hidden past, not the past that you find in the newspapers or in the textbooks, but the past that is in the soul of each one of us, the little stories, the little people.
I see reflections of myself, 100 reflections of myself each and every day. And 100 reflections of myself. They fall away.
España está haciendo una política, por una parte, si quiere hacer la voz, ¿verdad?, de América.
Spain, for her part, wanted to become the voice of the people of Europe. And I think no country had more of a right to this position. Spain was the first one to reach these lands and the first to inhabit them and stay on.
My grandfather came over here with nothing, landed as a boy of about 16 years old in New York and worked his way out to the West Coast because he has an uncle over here that he had only met once before and worked very, very hard. Our grandparents and our parents, my father, when he came over here too, on my father's side, my father worked very, very hard to establish a new life in this land.
Turistas diferentes que los turistas que han existido en estos 500 años. Me refiero a los turistas que creen que los indios son mitos, son las ruinas. Van a Tikal y dicen qué hermosos fueron los mayas. Y lo demás, ¿qué? ¿Dónde está la gente que son nietos de los mayas, o hijos de ellos, o herederos de ellos? No, eso no importa mucho. Importa ir a tomar una foto con las ruinas de Tikal. Eso tenemos que cambiar también, porque nosotros nos ofendemos, porque también tenemos sentimientos, porque también somos humanos. Nos ofendemos y decimos, qué tristeza, cuando los mayas que se quieren son los mayas muertos y no los mayas vivos.
I'd like everyone here to stand in solidarity with the Dene nation. Everyone repeat after me, in honor. In honor. In honor of the Dene nation. In honor of the Dene nation. In honor of the people of Big Mountain. In honor of the people of Big Mountain. We walk and struggle. We walk and struggle. We walk with a path of beauty. We walk with a path of beauty.
People forget that there was an Inquisition throughout Europe, and that in Geneva, Switzerland, for example, Calvin killed more people than Spain did in many years, which is to say that religious intransigence was one of the most typical characteristics of this time in the world, the ancient world.
Gente que está hablando en contra de los españoles, bueno, pues tuvimos la Inquisición. Yo no la vi, yo no la viví. Entonces, pues soy católico, pero no estoy en contra ni a favor de la Inquisición. Eso ya pasó. Entonces, ¿por qué yo voy a tomar parte ahora que ya estoy viejo? Ahora yo necesito trabajar. Ahora yo necesito ganar dinero.
La Inquisición europea fue terrorismo legitimizado del día. Fue 400 años de persecución física y espiritual por los intereses de la Iglesia y del Estado. La misma historia, otros lugares, otras fechas.
A rescatar los valores de nuestros antepasados. ¿Cuántos valores tenían nuestros antepasados? Sobre todo, el valor de la vinculación de la vida a la naturaleza, el concepto de un mundo más justo, menos destructivo, menos contaminante. Un mundo que tenían ellos, que tendrían sus grandes errores, pero tenían sus grandes valores. A rescatar esos valores, no para nosotros. En todo caso, nosotros todavía lo guardamos con nosotros mismos, sino para otros pueblos que ya perdieron eso, que ya no lo tienen. Mucha de nuestra gente está buscando reencontrar sus raíces, y está bien. Si lo busca, seguro que lo va a encontrar. Y al encontrarse con esas raíces, seguro que va a florecer, seguro que va a retoñar, porque no las ha perdido totalmente.
Yate kwasen alkahasilo atahus algo yate anolso. Khaya njoshilne khaya digin shilne digin shilne. I'm a member of those people who have been here forever. I am of Diné, is what we call ourselves. I'm a member of the Navajo people. Our homeland is in the area of Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, and Colorado. Yes, much, in fact, all of our history happened without the Europeans.
When I think of Columbus, I think of the famous 1492 Columbus sailed the ocean blue, which is the way I learned about it in school. And when I have to think about how he came to do it, then I think of Queen Isabella of Spain, was it? Yeah. Huh? But Columbus wasn't Spanish, right? No. He was Italian. So how come Queen Isabella wanted him to come? Was he the only one that would do it?
Columbus discovered America, or he didn't really discover humanity, right? The indigenous peoples were here. But there were a lot of other groups from many, many different cultures also landing in these shores. The Norsemen came here as well documented. They came here. many people think that the Chinese, the Japanese cultures landed here. They think the Egyptians landed here. Has that been well documented?
I speak to you from the past, and I speak to you for the future. Columbus was just the first colonialist, just the first capitalist, the first trader that come here. A greedy fool who cut off our hands for gold, looking for anything and everything he could get. Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, and Christopher Columbus are myths.
The New World meant for the man of the Renaissance, like the planets, the conquest of the planets are for us now. It was a totally incredible, magical place where they could build up an utopia. All the adventurers came, and they came for the sake of greed first. They wanted to take away as much as possible, but then they couldn't leave. They were trapped by the exuberance and the magic of this continent. And they tried to recreate there all their dreams, the dreams that they couldn't fulfill in a closed Europe that was already overcrowded and had 3,000 years of history. So the New World gave them this new horizon.
Christopher Columbus, your name makes me curious. Christopher Columbus, your name makes me curious.
We have lived simple life, but it is hard life. We live off the land. We have livestock. We have cornfields. And we were very self-sufficient for a long time. We live in peace for a long time.
I'm not sure that I agree with your use of the words genocide and extermination. There were Native American indigenous populations on the North American continent. I'm not sure that they were specifically in this country or in this state.
Muchas personas que hablan de un genocidio. Yo creo que eso es un término absoluto.
Many people talk about genocide, but this is an absolutely ridiculous term, because what genocide means is the intention to destroy a people. Spain never had this idea in its policies, nor did the Crown. And naturally, not a single viceroy, nor anyone else ever thought this, to attack, shall we say, to exterminate any of the indigenous races that populated America.
I guess in a way he brought trouble for some people because he opened it up to the Europeans, and maybe the Indians are not too glad about that. The Indians were not very well treated by the white man. They were chased away from the best parts of America.
Christopher Columbus, what have you done to us? Christopher Columbus, what have you done to us?
When Cortez arrived, there were 25 million Indians in Mexico. Less than 50 years later, in 1567, they were down to 1 million. This is Holocaust. This is a genocide of an entire continent of people.
You came over here on boats of your own free will. We were brought here by you. You had jobs for us to fill. You justified justified your doings by telling great big lies. You knew you were wrong, and fear showed in your eyes.
Why is it that there's a gun shop on almost every corner in this community? Why? They want us to kill ourselves.
When Columbus came to this continent, he set in motion two major acts of genocide. One was genocide of the native population. The other was genocide of the African population, because that quickly, soon initiated the Atlantic slave trade, which is responsible for the deaths of tens of millions of Africans and the virtual destruction of Africa by demographic catastrophe that occurred there. So what you had here was wiping out of the native population, substantial destruction and wiping out of Africa. Two major parts of the world were virtually destroyed. Meanwhile, the Portuguese and the British were doing the same thing over in South Asia.
Africa! Africa! Naya Bingue, una voz, una sola gente, unidos podemos cambiar las cosas. África nos habla, la madre África, África.
But just as we don't condone slavery, I mean, there was slavery on these shores 200 years ago, and a gentleman by the name of Abraham Lincoln obliterated it, hopefully, right? But there's still slavery going on in other parts of the world. It's wrong, but what does that have to do with people coming to these shores in a new world?
El tambor nos llama. Escuchen. Es la voz de África, la madre, donde todo se origina, donde todo comienza.
I believe that there is something called the critical number, and that is that when a number of people or individuals of a species realize something or have the knowledge of something, it spreads. It spreads very, very fast. Let's have an example. Slavery. For millenniums, the economy of the world was based on slavery. And no one ever thought that you could have people working without forcing them to. No one imagined that you could build the economy of a country by paying salaries to the people to work. The only way that you could do it was by beating them, putting them in, transforming them into slaves and using them until they died. But there were a number of people all over the world that were saying, this is perverse and obscene. The whole idea is perverse, and we have to fight against this. And of course they were silenced. For centuries they were silenced, because it was not convenient for the rich people who had the slaves. But then the idea starts to spread very slowly at the beginning, until one day the critical number, that individual, adds himself to the number of people who have been saying that. And at that point, the idea spreads. And very rapidly, slavery ends in the world. Of course, we still have it in some places, but it's always hidden. Now there is a universal consciousness that slavery is obscene and perverse.
Spain itself became a backwater as a result of this, while the British savages, who were even more brutal than the Spanish savages, took over the operation and became the real world power. Remember, the British at that time were pirates and terrorists who were raiding Spanish ships and stealing things from them, and they were even more brutal than the Spanish were, so they pretty well took it over pretty soon. And the Americans or the British, were just the British colonists who carried on the job from here.
They give you the credit, and the whole world's read it. But we discovered you. Said we discovered you. The Nina and the Pinta and the Santa Maria. I see ya. The Nina and the Pinta and the Santa Maria.
It's regrettable what happened. It's regrettable what happened 500 years ago. It's regrettable what happened maybe 400 years ago, even as long as 300 years ago. But again, I challenge you to explain to me, what does that have to do with the great experiment, with the concept that is America, that, by the way, also applies to the indigenous civilization.
This has been a very violent country. It was born in the genocide of the American Indian. Well, these squaw men joined the army, this army of conquest that rolled across the continent. And roughly 100 years ago, in the 1880s, when they were wiping out the last vestiges of the American Indian in the so-called Indian Wars, the U.S. cavalry would attack the villages, and they would cut the sexual organs off of the women and put them on their lances. A scalp, you realize. See the unity of images, the lance, the sexual organ, the dehumanization of the Indian, and violence.
We must keep in mind that we've all heard of the large mass migration from Europe that occurred at around the turn of the century. For the last 150 years, approximately 53 million immigrants came to this country, or have come to this country, foreign-born immigrants. Now that's from everywhere in the world, okay? Found a beautiful country. They came and participated in the great experiment, okay? The great experiment we all read about.
I'm the 7th generation from my great-great-great-grandparents who were on the Trail of Tears. I can tell you about that relocation. I can tell you about the allotments of land and then losing that land in Oklahoma. There is another side to this great experiment, and the indigenous people of this country have not been a part of that opportunity. As you say, they have been shoved onto reservation lands. Their way of life has been taken from them. They have been impoverished. They were not impoverished nations in 1492.
We live in peace for a long time until this thing called relocation came about. Way back in 1933, sometime around there, the government came in and they did not say whose livestock is this. All they did is they just came in and took the livestock. They hauled them away without the permission of any of the people that the livestock belonged to. Some of them were taken away, and we understand that they were just shot and piled in the piles and burned to death. Some of them probably were still alive when they were burned up. That we know that there are minerals right within our land where we live at Big Mountain, and the purpose of all this harassment is there's a mine right next to where we live, and it's called Peabody Coal Company. And it is a corporation, the big corporation.
So yes, there have been abuses. There have been abuses in North Carolina too. But there have been abuses in Florida. There have been abuses in Oklahoma. There have been abuses particularly in the Dakotas. The Indians here in San Francisco Bay Area, by the way, disappeared, really disappeared over 200 years ago.
Guatemala tiene más de 46,000 desaparecidos de estos últimos 36 años. Más de 46,000 desaparecidos. La gran mayoría de estos 46,000 desaparecidos eran jóvenes, eran gente con mucho entusiasmo de la vida. Y la gran mayoría de este pueblo eran indígenas, la gran mayoría, eran los nietos de los mayas, que en algún momento querían ellos ser parte de la decisión de su destino. Reclamaban participación para que se les permita estar presente cuando se hagan las leyes, las normas, cuando se aprueben las constituciones, cuando se hable de la democracia, cuando se hable de la libertad.
And this is where the problems start, but I was out there, and at the time I was about 17 years old, and I was listening to the radio, and it says that the land has been partitioned to the Hopi, and this was back in 74 February, and I didn't know where they meant because I never seen nobody come here to the Hogout and tell us what they did. I just heard it down there in the news, and I told my mom, well, Mom, I guess somewhere in this area in northern Arizona they have partitioned it to the Hopi land, and she said, well, maybe it's somewhere else, and we kind of didn't care. Then later it was really right where we are. So we thought that's how the struggling began.
We have BIA that has enforced a law and told the Hopi people to come out among us just every single day impounding our livestock. And whenever they impound the livestock, we had to scrounge around for the money to get the money together and get them back. And it costs quite a bit of money, and most of us don't have any money, and most of us don't have a job. So we are just in debt in every way. There is a Peabody Coal Company sitting right next to Big Mountain. I know they dearly love to come in and dig up the whole Big Mountain and just dig up everything there is in it. And for me and my people, we have the greatest respect for that mountain. And that's been our home. That's where we get our water. That's where we pray. And that is just like a church to us. You don't go around, just come in with a bulldozer and dig up a church. And I think people would be very unhappy if you did that to somebody's church.
And we are still being displaced. We are still being shot on sight. We are still being denied our right to our ceremonies and our sacred objects that are still in universities and museums. Our ancestors' bones are being unburied. Our treaties are being violated. We are being denied our traditional subsistence foods. We're not allowed to hunt and fish. Our people's backs are now to the ocean.
Across the Golden Gate Bridge, painted orange with the dried blood of men, I have word of the county named for Marin, the Miwok Indian leader who rose against the Spaniards. And from the prison named Quentin, the Miwok Indian chief of the same name and place, he is leading his people against the prison guards to emancipate the children from handcuffs of shame. May I remind you that under San Francisco City Halls and its shadows, with our hands and within our memories, police cars burned, and they shall burn again.
This is my third year portraying the faithful navigator that discovered America in 1492. He is the first documented immigrant to come to America. We enjoy Columbus Day. We enjoy what Columbus stood for, of the faith and the brave.
I portrayed Colombo for 31 years. He's a nano. He's a nano for the Spanish people and Italian people who have contributed to the beautiful country that we have, the New World, El Nuevo Mundo.
For myself, I'm really thinking about the images that this is going to stimulate. This 1992 coming on, you know, it's like a stab in the back. It's like a jarring of memory. Like, you know, of course, it's a celebration of resistance, if anything, and a recommitment to, you know, getting over this domination and moving on, getting beyond tribalism and uniting into a strong force that resists the genocide. I mean,
and right now we are in an opportune time, in a historical time as a people, as an indigenous people here in the Americas. In terms of trying to place ourselves in a historic time, what do we do as a people? What do we raise as a people? What do we demand as a people? And what do we see beyond?
Yo creo que debemos de aprovechar esa conmemoración de los 500 años del descubrimiento de América para promover la liberación de todos los indios, los indígenas de América, desde Alaska hasta la Patagonia. Especialmente hay que promover la liberación de los indios en Estados Unidos que están en campos de concentración prácticamente.
This is an opportune time for us to end the colonization once and for all. You know, to strip away the colonization, to strip away the racism and the sexism that these encounters of the two worlds brought upon the indigenous people. You know, and not let it continue. Just put un basta, un alto, and saying, okay, you had it your way for the last 500 years. The next 500 years, it's going to change. You know, we want the equality, the respect, and you know, that was denied us, and the reparations.
Tenemos que revisar con toda objetividad lo que ha pasado de bueno y de malo en esos 500 años. Hay mucho de malo, hay mucho de bueno. Hay que aprovechar lo bueno y dejar de lado lo malo.
Basically joining hands with all Indians of the Americas and people of color who are in support of solidarity with indigenous peoples. And Indians throughout the world are planning alternative events and activities.
It's up to the people, the rulers, the corporations, get them rid of them. It's up to the people. Let's start here in 92 for the rest of our lives to change it.
It's time for all people of all races to all come together in a good way and fight for the truth and to lift each other up. All of us, four-color nation, red, yellow, black, and white, we all have to fight for, you know, the heartbeat, the heart center that we all share as people indigenous to this planet.
Hemos empezado a forjar un trabajo de autodescubrimiento entre nuestros pueblos. Empezar a saber en nuestras tierras que hay chicanos, que hay nietos de los incas, de los aztecas, que hay pueblos hermanos, que hay otras organizaciones que han luchado por lo mismo y que existen hoy, y podemos empezar a generar un pequeño grano de unidad, un pequeño comienzo de unidad, unidad de luchas, unidad de demandas, unidad de pensamientos.
And we believe that we have a lot of people among us who are in the leadership positions who have sold out to special interests, who have sold not only their names, but have sold out, their people in general, ¿verdad? So our message is, do not sell out your convictions, and don't trade for, moneda que no sirve, our values. More importantly, para los chamacos, respetar la familia, respect your family, respect your parents, your elders. And let's start reaching back to our elders and let them show us and teach us the way.
I am also from Big Mountain, and I'm Ella Sonali. Some years ago when the fencing first started, I didn't agree with what was going on, and I will never agree with what's going on. And I went over to the people that were putting up the fence and told them that they had no right to be fencing up the land that did not belong to them. Myself and my 3 children were arrested and we were put in jail.
This is a long parade. We have quite a few floats in it, quite a few bands and horses and everything. That takes about 3 hours to complete.
I think it's very good that he discovered America. How do you feel the celebration of today is?
Well, it's a good celebration. We wouldn't be having it if it weren't for that Columbus way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good thing he went around the world, or tried to go around the world.
I think Columbus Day is a great day. I'm glad to be out here. I'm glad the weather is as beautiful as the day is.
He was a persistent dreamer, a visionary.
Fabulous. That's San Francisco with all of its nationalities and flavors coming together today. A lot of fun.
I think it's a great day for Italian Americans.
Happy Columbus. Everyone have a wonderful time.
Oh, philosophical. This is no time to get philosophical. We're just enjoying the occasion and celebrating the Italian-American influence in this country.
The oppression of Native people and 500 years of shame, and we know it.
Oh, Columbus Day, it's a wonderful day. It's a wonderful day. We have to celebrate the discovery of our nation by Columbus. Of course, the Native Americans were here first, and we respect them too.
Porque no podemos quedarnos con los brazos cruzados. Ellos van a celebrar su fiesta porque ellos tienen dinero y lo quieren celebrar en nuestras propias casas.
But we can't stand there with our arms folded because they want to celebrate their party and they have money and they want to celebrate it in our homes.
No va a ser una campaña de solo indígenas, sino va a ser para todos.
It's not going to be a campaign only of indigenous people, it's going to be for everybody.
Donde vamos a participar todos.
All of us are going to participate. The indigenous people, the campesinos,
los movimientos populares,
the popular movement,
los blancos,
the white people,
los negros,
black people,
los chinos,
Chinese people,
católicos,
Catholics,
no católicos,
non-Catholics,
de la costumbre, o sea, los sacerdotes mayas.
the Mayan priests.
My name is Luis Vasquez. I'm working with the Committee 500 Years of Self-Discovery. We're implementing a campaign that is trying to evolve that self-discovery in each culture, and we are currently celebrating Columbus. This is not going to stop in 1992. This is just the beginning, because what has happened in 500 years, we cannot remedy in 2 or 3 years. We have to start doing it. It's just the beginning. We're thinking right now in the 2000, Chowsky 2000.
It's really good to be here with everyone today, and it's really wonderful that it started in the way that it did, with the people coming in a ceremonial way, the children here, and everybody gathered here together, all together. This is excitement and this is power. They try and convince the people that we are powerless to make change, but this is saying no, we are not powerless here. This is good, this is strong, and this is very, very beautiful.
Our grandfather, I want to say a prayer today for our people, for all of our people that are in prison. I want to say a special prayer for a political prisoner, Leonard Peltier. I want to say a prayer for all the people in Central and South America, the ones that are struggling for and fighting and dying for their freedom. As long as we are carrying this feather here, we will have security around it. As long as this feather is being carried by Indians, this feather will be protected. We do not go to Wounded Knee for nothing. Grandfather, I want to say a prayer again for the good day.
want to say a prayer for all my brothers and sisters here, all my relations.
We are here to celebrate resistance. We are here to celebrate African people, Native American people in resistance against the oppressors. We are here to discover and rediscover our history. Maroons and Indios, Africans and natives in resisting, in alliance. We are here to rediscover that history as a foundation for our struggles today. Because there was a day
and I know that 1 out of every 3 African Americans in California is in the court system. And I know that once every 5 minutes a woman is raped. Once every 15 seconds a woman is beaten, shackled. I know that 2 out of every 3 women in this country will be raped before they die. And I know that 80% of children born HIV positive are African American babies.
Honor of all my relations, of all the sacred directions. Grandmother Moon, Sister Stars, Tata Sol, Inti, Pachacamac, Madre Tierra, Mother Earth, hear our cries, hear our heartbeats. Dividir y conquistar un clima de terror. Ya no nos dejaremos dividir y conquistar. La lucha vive. Comprender nuestras historias nos permite tomar una lucha con una visión clara, una visión que reconoce la naturaleza entretejida de los asuntos, que reconoce que nuestros intereses no son separados, no importa quién somos. La misma historia, otros lugares, otros tiempos.
Wait a minute! We're not going down like that! We must rise like our ancestors have always risen! We must resist this!
We're not going out like that. The next time one of those killer cops comes and mess with one of us, we're going to rise just like we did in Washington the 60s. We're going to rise like we did in D.C. last summer. We're going to rise like we did in San Diego just across the bay.
Not just a play. Not just a skit. No! This is our history. This is our lives. Our past, our present, our future. San Francisco, we need to hear you today. We'll be fighting on the streets for it tomorrow.
History's debts are waiting to be collected, and you are here to witness a return of the repressed, the return of yourselves to real life. Revolution is a kiss on the lips. It is a crime of passion from the earth and the sun and the moon and the wind. All power to love and to the imagination. This long night filled with our most secret dreams, it cannot end without an act of freedom. Let no one ever tell you otherwise.
500 años, aquí estamos, aquí estamos.
I have the honor of being the chairman of the reenactment of the landing of Christopher Columbus here. And this is something we've been doing for over 100 years, and we're very proud of it.
I just stumbled across this celebration, and I was interested to see how you would have, are you going to have Columbus arrive here? Are you going to have somebody come in on a boat and pretend they're Columbus?
An American on the Mexican, from Mexico, they say, Mariano, you don't dance for the Spanish people, you don't dance for the Italian people. They say, I'm so sorry, I am working and I am dancing for my culture, not for the political, the church or the other political, I don't care. I am Catholic, I respect to everything, and you know, the very important point in my life, I went in Spain, and the people is beautiful. They love to Mexico, they love everybody.
Basically, I'm here to counter what's going on today with the celebration of Columbus. To the native and indigenous peoples of all the Americas, it's not a celebration. Columbus to us was not an explorer. Columbus was an invader.
But in this occasion, I don't know, I am afraid because some people try to boycott the presentation, the group, for political things. But you know, some people don't love the Cristobal Colon or the Spanish people, but I don't like the politics.
I'm here because I think that there ought to be another message here besides celebrating what Columbus symbolizes. As an Indian and as a person from this land, I think it's important to put things in some kind of balance.
We are with Bailes Flamencos, Spanish dance company, and we're going to be dancing to entertain the King of Spain, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella.
The truth of the picture in such a way that racist, imperialist, colonialist, supremacist myths can be exploded and buried forever, and that
La primera parte que hacemos, como dije anteriormente, desciende Cristóbal Colón y entonces Moctezuma, que yo represento a Moctezuma, le doy la bienvenida. Y después del intercambio de saludos y de regalos, entonces me lleva a presentar con la corte. Y después de la corte venimos nosotros a la plataforma y bailamos la danza Coyolcahuique dedicada a la diosa de la noche y la luna.
I have been sent here by the King and Queen of Spain from a land far, far beyond the rising sun. I bring you peace and not war. I come here love Christianity. And in honor of our Savior, who guided us across these uncharted lands, I name this land San Salvador.
A la gran Tenochtitlán. Esperábamos su arribo con acato y sumisión, porque así nos fue legado por nuestro gran Dios Quetzalcóatl. Esperábamos su llegada con ansiedad. Bienvenido a la gran Tenochtitlán. Si estoy haciendo esto es por la cultura de México. Esto es México.
A year ago, I have sought ways to the Indies and discovered a new world. And of my findings, I would like to present to you Chief Tapia.
Spain and His Majesty King Ferdinand, I, Queen Isabella, knight thee, Emerald of the Sea.
Something like this just makes me sick to see how unbalanced and biased and what a fantasy world these people are trying to create for themselves and their history and their children, in light of the the hundreds of millions of deaths and the environmental destruction, the cultural destruction, rape and pillage of the sacred spiritual ways. It's just, it really hurts me to even think about that and to see that the birth of all that tragedy being celebrated.
We commemorate the meeting of two worlds, the old world and the new world.
Because people should be celebrating. And we should be celebrating, that this event happened in a different way. We should be celebrating that this event symbolized the wrong direction. People took a wrong direction on this land, and we need to set the direction straight. And we need to put things in the proper perspective so that can happen.
The fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, that 500 years ago, two worlds met. They met on the eastern coast of the United States of the Americas.
Have now fed the world. We have given the world so much, including the term democracy, as it is practiced today. And what is given to us? Nothing but fantasies and ideologies of hearsay and continued lies and myths. Today, our attempt is to shatter that myth forever with the truth. And that truth is that my people, our people, the Indian people of the world, the Americas, are still here. And we will be here until the end of history. Because if we die, everybody dies. Don't you get it?
I want to tell you, we feel the wind here, and we have the clouds in the sky, and we are sitting on Mother Earth, and we have trees around us, and these are the natural laws. These are the ones that run our life. Most of the laws that they talk about are man-made laws, and they're not very good either. And they only make it for the purpose of for somebody else's advantage, not for the person that is a victim. Usually they don't gain anything from it. And for generation and generation, people have lived at Big Mountain and elsewhere, and they are not going anywhere, and I am one of them.
Oh